father's love is limitless. Every sacrifice, every tireless moment spent working, is for his child's future. Even in the quiet of the night, when his strength wanes, his love for his child pushes him forward, hoping to give them a better life. When the time comes for the child to leave, the father's heart is filled with a mixture of pride and sorrow. The final embrace, the quiet whisper of reassurance, "I'll always be with you," carries a promise that no distance can break. In moments of doubt, the father's wisdom remains a guiding light. His words, gentle yet powerful, mend his child that they are never alone, that with faith and patience, they can overcome anything. As the child grows, the father's teachings remain etched in their heart. Every decision, every step they take, is guided by the love and wisdom their father instilled in them. In his final moments, the father blesses his child. With a final prayer, he passes on a legacy of love, faith, and strength. Years later, as the child stands at a crossroads, they remember the lessons their father taught them. His love, still guiding them, becomes the strength they need to choose the right path. Though the father is no longer physically present, his spirit remains, watching over his child. The love that once shaped their world continues to guide them, carrying his legacy into the future.
He had always dreamed of becoming a father, and when that day finally arrived, he made a vow to himself and to Allah to give his child the best possible care, love, and guidance. His life became entirely centered around his child's well-being, health, and growth, as he saw his child as an amanat trust from Allah, one that he must cherish, protect, and nurture. From the very beginning, he understood that parenthood was not just about providing material comfort. It was about providing emotional support, spiritual guidance, and physical care. His child was not just a gift, his child was a responsibility. Every day, he woke up with a renewed sense of purpose, making sure that everything he did was for the well-being of his child. His heart swelled with love every time he saw his child's innocent smile and heard the soft sound of their laughter. The man was fully aware that raising a child was not an easy task. There were many sleepless nights, moments of worry, and times when he felt overwhelmed. But in all of these challenges, he always found strength in his faith. He prayed to Allah every night, asking for guidance, strength, and wisdom. He knew that he couldn't do it alone. He needed Allah's help. In his household, the values of Islam were instilled from the very first moments of his child's life. He made sure to teach his child the importance of good character, kindness, respect, and honesty. Every action was an opportunity to guide. Every word was a chance to teach. He told his child stories of the prophets and their patience, emphasizing the importance of making good choices and trusting in Allah's plan. The man's dedication was not limited to just moral guidance. He took great care in maintaining his child's health. He ensured that his child ate healthy, nutritious meals and engaged in physical activities that helped develop their body and mind. But beyond that, he taught his child how to take care of their spiritual health. He guided them in prayer, reminding them of the importance of connecting with Allah through Salah prayer. He believed that true peace came from the inside and that a strong bond with Allah was the foundation of happiness. As his child grew older, the man's role evolved. He moved from simply being a caretaker to becoming a mentor, a friend, and a guide. He began to notice how his child started to develop their own personality, preferences, and dreams. The father, seeing this, always encouraged his child to follow their dreams, to always be true to themselves, and to trust in the wisdom of Allah. He was always there to listen, to offer advice, and to help when things seemed difficult. One evening, as they sat together watching the sunset, the man looked at his child and felt a sense of deep gratitude. His heart was filled with an overwhelming love, not just for the child, but for the opportunity Allah had given him to guide and protect this soul. It was a responsibility that weighed heavy, but one he embraced with all his heart. The father smiled, remembering the sacrifices his own parents made for him, and he knew that this cycle of love and care would continue through generations. He whispered a prayer to Allah, asking for his child's safety, happiness, and success in this world and the hereafter. His child, now old enough to understand the depths of their father's love, gave him a grateful smile, understanding the sacrifices that had been made and the countless prayers that had been said for them. They promised to follow in their father's footsteps, to cherish the teachings of Islam, and to honor the sacrifices made for them. This story teaches us the importance of raising our children with love, patience, and care. It emphasizes the role of a parent as a guide, protector, and mentor in a child's life. The father's dedication to his child's physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being reflects the essence of parenthood in Islam. It also reminds us that raising a child is not just about providing for their material needs, but also about nurturing their hearts and souls. Parenthood is a trust given by Allah, and it is our duty to fulfill it with sincerity, compassion, and faith. Just as this father prayed for his child's well-being, we should always turn to Allah for strength and guidance in our roles as parents. Through this love, devotion, and prayer, we can raise our children to be strong, kind, and faithful individuals who carry on the legacy of goodness and compassion. As time passed, the child began to grow, and so did the love and wisdom shared between father and child. The father, who had once cradled his baby in his arms, now found himself watching his child take their first steps into the world. Every day, the child learned new things. Some were easy to understand, while others required patience and perseverance. The father, ever watchful, continued to guide, support, and encourage. One day, the father faced a difficult situation. His child, now of age, was faced with a decision that could change the course of their life. It was a situation where they had to choose between following the crowd or standing firm in their beliefs. The father could see the inner conflict in his child's eyes. He knew that this was a crucial moment, one that could either strengthen or weaken his child's character. With great care, the father called his child to his side, and they sat together, just as they had many times before. The father's heart swelled with pride as he spoke, his voice filled with both love and wisdom. "My dear child," he began, "life is filled with choices. Some will be easy and others will be hard. But remember this, always choose what is right, even if it is difficult. And when in doubt, turn to Allah for guidance." The father reminded his child of the teachings of the prophets and the importance of upholding one's values. He shared stories of Prophet Abraham, who trusted in Allah when faced with immense trials, and how his faith was rewarded. "Trust in Allah's plan, my child, even when you don't understand why things happen the way they do," he said softly. "Allah always knows what is best for us." The child, deeply moved by their father's words, made a promise to always strive to follow the righteous path, no matter how challenging the journey might be. They understood that life was a test, and with Allah's help, they could navigate it with patience, integrity, and faith. As time went on, the child encountered many challenges: academic pressures, friendships that tested their character, and decisions that forced them to confront their own beliefs. But each time, the child would remember their father's words, and in moments of uncertainty, they would turn to prayer. They found solace in the remembrance of Allah, just as their father had taught them. One day, the father watched with tears in his eyes as his child made a difficult but right decision. His child had chosen to help a friend who was in need, even though it meant sacrificing their own comfort. The father was overjoyed, knowing that his child was not only growing in knowledge, but also in character. The values of kindness, selflessness, and sincerity were now deeply rooted within them. The man's heart was full. He had dedicated his life to raising his child with love, guidance, and faith in Allah, and now, he saw the fruits of his labor. His child had grown into a person who embodied the very teachings he had imparted. It was a moment of profound peace for the father, knowing that the legacy of love, faith, and trust in Allah would continue through his child's life. As the years went on, the father grew older, but his love for his child never faded. One evening, as he sat with his child, he whispered a prayer, asking Allah to continue protecting them, to grant them wisdom, and to guide them in all their endeavors. "O Allah," he prayed, "please bless my child with success in this life and the hereafter. May they always find peace in your guidance, and may they carry forward the light of your truth." His child, now fully grown, placed a hand on his father's shoulder. "I will always carry your teachings with me, Father," they said, "and I will continue to trust in Allah, just as you have taught me." In this second part of the story, the father's guidance is tested, and he passes on the wisdom of faith, patience, and trust in Allah. Raising a child is a lifelong journey, full of challenges, but with patience and love. A parent can instill values that will guide their child throughout their life. The father's unwavering belief in Allah and his dedication to teaching his child the importance of faith in moments of difficulty is a lesson for all. It shows us that even in tough times, we must trust in Allah's wisdom and rely on Him for strength. The story teaches us the importance of nurturing our children not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally. Through the trials of life, parents must continue to offer guidance, love, and trust in Allah's plan, knowing that, with Allah's help, their children will grow to be strong, wise, and compassionate individuals. The second part of the story serves as a reminder that true success is not just measured by achievements, but by the strength of one's faith, character, and commitment to doing what is right, even when faced with adversity. As time continued its steady march, the father and child entered a new phase in their journey together. The child, now an adult, had matured into a person of integrity, wisdom, and faith, guided by the lessons their father had imparted over the years. The father's love for his child had never wavered, And even though his own hair had turned silver and his steps had become slower, his heart still held a deep, unwavering love for the child he had
That's
nurtured.
how I felt when I
Asterisk,
went through
but the
it, you
journey
know?
was
It
far
was a
from
huge
over.
discovery
The
for
child
me.
had
What
now
is
reached
trust?
a
How do we
stage where
give
they
it?
needed
Yeah,
to
I
step
get
into
that.
the world fully, guided by the values their father had instilled in them. The father knew that the time had come for his child to spread their wings and make their mark on the world. But this filled his heart with mixed emotions: pride for the person his child had become, and fear for the challenges they would face without his constant presence by their side. Asterisk, one evening, as the father sat by the window, watching the sunset and painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, the child came to sit beside him. It had been a while since they had shared a quiet moment together, and this time, the air was thick with unspoken words. Asterisk, the father turned to his child and spoke softly. My dear, you have grown so much, and my heart is filled with pride. But now, it is time for you to step forward and make decisions on your own. You have the strength, wisdom, and faith to face whatever comes your way. But remember always to turn to Allah in every moment of your life. Asterisk, the child, now ready to face the world, looked at their father with love and gratitude. I am who I am because of you, Father, they said. Your love, guidance, and prayers have shaped me into the person I am today. I promise to carry forward the lessons you've taught me and live a life that pleases Allah. Asterisk, the father, with a soft smile, placed his hand on his child's shoulder. You are my greatest gift from Allah, and I have done my best to guide you. But now, I entrust you to Allah. He will guide you, protect you, and grant you success in all your endeavors. Trust in Him, and you will never be alone. Asterisk, with that, the child stood up, their heart full of both gratitude and resolve. The father's words were a final blessing, a gift that would stay with them throughout their life. The years passed, and the child entered a new chapter in their life. They faced challenges just as their father had, but now, they were armed with the wisdom and strength their father had passed on to them. There were times when they stumbled, when they felt lost or uncertain, but in those moments, they remembered their father's teachings, and they turned to Allah. Asterisk, one such moment came when the child faced a career decision that was not easy. They had an opportunity to take a high-paying job, but it conflicted with their values. There were ethical concerns that made them uneasy. The child found themselves torn between the allure of financial security and the inner conflict of compromising their principles. Asterisk. It was in this moment of confusion that the child remembered the lessons from their father. Always choose what is right, even if it's hard. They recalled the countless times their father had reminded them to place their trust in Allah and to make decisions with integrity, regardless of the consequences. Asterisk, so, the child made the decision to decline the job offer, despite the pressure to accept it. They chose to follow the path of honesty, integrity, and faith, knowing that the right path would always lead to peace, even if it wasn't the easiest route. Asterisk, the child's decision was a turning point in their life. It wasn't just about a job, it was about holding onto the values that their father had taught them. Values that were grounded in their love for Allah and His guidance. In the years that followed, the child's life flourished. They found success in ways they never imagined. Not because they had taken shortcuts or compromised their beliefs, but because they had trusted in Allah's plan and remained steadfast in their faith. As the father's health began to decline, the child, now an adult with a family of their own, sat by their father's side. The father, though weak, still had a calm and peaceful presence.